Hello, Namaste, Sasikal, good evening. Welcome to the S.S.Chandhok talk show. I'm your host and moderator, S.S. Chandhok. It's a pleasant weather outside, and because after Diwali, you have good, pleasant season or everywhere in the country. We have come back again with a very important topic, which we had been talking about, that is mathematics. We had been seeing that students after, especially after the middle school, yeah, during the middle school, they start having phobia of mathematics, sixth grade onwards, because the syllabus increases, the pressure increases from the all the stakeholders, and it becomes a phobia, and children they lose interest in mathematics. Whenever you say them as a parent to sit, oh, it's a very boring subject, they keep on running here and there. How can we make it more interesting? This is what we are going to make understand today. Many of we might have been very good in mathematics, but many of us must have the phobia till now. So how can we remove this phobia, and how can we bring this forward to our students in our school? There is no need to be a mathematics teacher if you want to come into this session. It's a request to everyone else who will be seeing this, because principals are all rounders. They can talk about anything and every topic related to the kids. Without taking any more time, I'll introduce you the very first eminent guest present over here. First of all, we have Dr. Bhavna Gupta, ma'am. She is the principal of a very prestigious institution in Ghaziabad, that is MIT International School, Sector 1, Vasundhara. Good evening, ma'am. Welcome, ma'am, once again. It's pleasure to see you after a long time. I think around 6 months or more than that back you came into the show one of the season.
Yeah, I
Thank you.
did.
Yeah, thank you so much, ma'am, first of all. And of course, because everybody will like to know about your educational journey, ma'am, please let us know, did you came into this profession by chance or by choice? And from a teacher to a leader in a such a prestigious institution, that too in Ghaziabad.
Okay, so it's not about mathematics, it's more about my journey. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to talk about it. Did I decide being a teacher right from early years? No, never, never. I think I'm a accidental principal. I didn't plan it that way. It just happened. So probably when I was growing up, I wanted to be in administration. That I knew for sure. But school administration, it just happened later on. I started off with computers. So I did my diploma in computers. I do not know what I had in mind, but that landed me with a job in school. And that first job in school ensured that I stayed in school. But then, as I said, I never wanted to be a teacher. So right from the beginning, I was impatient to get into administration. So after 13 years of teaching a little bit of computers, a little bit of English, little bit of economics, little bit of SST, I became a principal. So at a very early age, I think I was 32 or 33, 32, I became a principal. And it's been amazing journey. It's never a dull day when you are a principal. Every day is a new day, and you get to do. There's such diversity in your work. You get to dance, you get to play, you get to write, you get to speak, you get to do whatever you want to do. In fact, you get to do events as well. So enjoying it thoroughly, although this is not how I had planned it. But yes, and talking about mathematics, no, I'm never a numbers person. I am more of a words person. And but as you said, principals, they know a little bit of everything rather than too much about one little thing. So yes, maths also, I was never a maths person, not maths phobia as such. I can do the functional maths that's required of a leader. Um, but otherwise, never a maths person. So
Right,
that's
ma'am.
been my journey.
So many subjects already you have taught, so you are a versatile person with all the subjects. You can go into the classes, SST, English, economics, computers, and everything you can teach.
Yes, I have my diploma in computers. That's how I landed in my first job as a computer teacher. Um, I also have doctorate in English. I have masters in economics as well. So that
You
helps
didn't,
me.
you
Yeah, a
didn't
little
left
bit of
anything.
everything. A little bit
You
of
didn't
everything.
left anything. You didn't left anything for others also, ma'am. You are taking everything. That's good, ma'am. That's wonderful, ma'am. Which was your first school as a teacher, ma'am?
as a computer teacher, it was a school in Agra. It was Holy Public Junior. It was Holy Public School as a computer teacher.
That's wonderful, ma'am.
And thereafter,
Right,
it was St. Francis School as an English teacher. It was
right.
also Kendriya Vidyalaya. I also joined Kendriya Vidyalaya as an English teacher.
Okay,
Then when I left Kendriya Vidyalaya, because you know how it is with Kendriya Vidyalayas and all, wanting a transfer to your hometown, but that never materializing. That's when I left Kendriya Vidyalaya. And since then, I have been a school principal.
that's wonderful, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am, and welcome once again.
Thank you.
Next, we have Dr. Vinaya Sawant, ma'am. She's the principal of a very prestigious institution in Bangalore, that is Indra Priyadarshini School. Thank you, ma'am. Welcome, first of all, for coming up to the show. It's a big thanks to you. It's wonderful to see you again after a long time, because the faces today, they have been earlier, but had been a long time back. So see, after so long time, thanks to the technology and thanks to mathematics and Nimble sir also, that we are joining again to talk about something about fruitful about the students. Ma'am, please let us know about your education journey, ma'am. Vinaya, ma'am.
Thank you. Lovely evening to one and all present here. As Chandok sir said, it's always nice to be in his show because I get to connect to a lot of new people, and it's really good to know because I'm a people's person. And if I talk about my journey in education, it's purely by choice because I always wanted to be a teacher, right? You know, we used to do this Teachers' Day celebration in our school, and we were being told to do the teaching for the teachers. So, right, I think that was my first teaching I would have done. That was when I was in ninth standard. And since then, I always thought that, yes, I want to become a teacher. And the journey began, and it's been almost 24 years that I'm in this teaching sector and still continue to be a teacher first and then a principal because I always feel that teaching has always given me that aspect of life, or it has shown me that side of the life that anything and everything you come be with the children, you forget everything. You, no matter how much things we are going out in our life, but when we are with kids, when we are with children, I think half of our problems or solutions to our problems are always, it always comes from the children. To talk about my education, it's a little messed up and mixed up because I started being a commerce graduate. And of course, yes, math, because maths was one of my very favorite subject. Thanks to all my maths teachers, right from my school days to my college days to my post graduation, everywhere I had math my major subject. I did my B.Ed also in math. And then I did my post graduation with economics and math again. So math, playing with math, and been teaching also social studies in this school for such a long time. And economics is again one of my favorite subject. I did my post graduation with economics as well because I first did my MCom and then I did my MA. So there was this double, and then I thought, okay, I have to move away from a little bit away from math and other economic subjects because I've done too much of economics thing. So then I chose to do my doctorate in psychology, that is cognitive psychology. But again, there also I was introduced with a little bit of I think more of math over there. So math never left my life, and still today I teach math to students of various sectors, that is from state to CBSE to IGCSE background, all of them. And it's been always a wonderful journey throughout this because uh, yes, principal, it's a little dicey thing because you're stuck with all the time with administration purpose. But then I make it a point that every day morning I do one math class with my students of grade 10, or if I'm not doing it in the morning, then I do it in the evening, so that I am connected to the students. And I feel math is something which gave me connection to my students. And yes, changing the world around us with little bit whatever we can. I think as an educator, we need to change a lot. We need to bring that change in the students. We need to bring that change in the mindset of the people. And that's only possible when we in first place accept that change in us. I'm sure that we all as an educator also understand that we have walked a long way ahead from what we were in some years back and what we are now. So all the teaching methodologies, pedagogies, technologies, everything has been changed. But that's changed for good. That's something is really,
Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
feeling very happy. That's really changed for a good, because if you ask me my first teaching life and now after 24 years, I would say this is, I'm enjoying now than what I was doing earlier. It was not that I was not enjoying, but if you ask me
Every time.
which I rate higher, yes. Every year it's a new learning, or I can say every minute, every day, every second is a new learning. Today we are here. I'm sure that after this end of this talk, we're going to carry up a lot of new learnings along with us. So that's me. And thank
Thank
you
you, ma'am.
everybody for having me here. Thank you, Chandok sir, for having me here.
Welcome, ma'am, and thank you so much for coming once again. And life is a long learning. We keep on learning till the last breath we take. And we share the commerce also, ma'am. I also was an accounts teacher. I did my MA in economics also. Sometime I taught economics also. So Bhavna, ma'am, and you and are having the common subjects. Let's see about Sarit sir and Maninder Palpur, ma'am, also. Thank you so much, ma'am, and welcome, ma'am, once again. Next, we have Maninder Palkor, ma'am. She is the principal of one more very prestigious institution in Delhi, that is Shiv Modern Senior Secondary School. She always writes principal over there, although she's into the management. Also, I came to know. She never told me, but I came to know through others. Welcome, ma'am. Welcome,
Thank you.
Maninder, ma'am. Maninder,
Thank you
ma'am,
so much.
for coming up to the show once again. Again, having you on the show after a long time. It's a pleasant over here. Ma'am, please let us know about yourself, ma'am, to the listeners.
Yeah, so in not much, I'll be detailing it about. I had all my education from Mumbai, and I was, in fact, I had a very nice expression that, okay, I'm from Xavier's, Xavier's, Xavier's. So that stamp was going with me all through till I finished my MSc B.Ed, and I had taken up earth science. So I'm a geologist also. So moving into a track of ONGC or going to some mining fields, I had a big twist in my life where finally my parents, when they got me married off, the moment we were told that we have been fixed here in Delhi, I came to know that they had a school. And it was quite challenging for me because from my student lifetime, I was very mischievous. I was a mimicry and a mono acting artist. I used to enact all my teachers. So this was a little bit, you can say, punishment from God, that up to principal ban, you sit on that seat and you watch what are you doing. So, but anyway, I thank God for whatever He has blessed me. And of course, the moment I came to Delhi, the state boards are different. I think so. In Bangalore, Bodha ma'am, you must be knowing Ghaziabad ma'am. Whenever you're taking your CBSE affiliated or other state boards, so here when we talk about our state boards, a little difference was there. So I brought in more things which were not there in our own CBSE schools. For example, we started on with the IPM pedagogy of doing values. These values are to be inculcated in each and every period of the unit lesson plan which the teacher carries off in the classroom. So that was included, and I really started on putting on my own foot ahead, that how we will be going for our school, how to progress it in a different way. So right now we have 2 schools here, and of course the workload is as usual like you, but ma'am, hats off to Vinaya ma'am, that at 5 to 6 and still you're sitting there in your school. Hats off to you. ये जो जिनके अपने स्कूल होते हैं, ये कभी भी चले जाते हैं वापस. Rest all okay, and sir, very nicely, I thank you very much for welcoming me for today's session, because I really wanted to put in this some important strategies. Dear friends, I'm a CBSE resource person since last 6 years in the science. I take science, I take learning styles, and of course, I take happy classrooms. Among all of these, I enjoy taking teaching of science, because every time I have my workshop, I always browse for some new strategies of teaching science. So of course, with Max also. So as Sir told, you all must be loving Max a lot. I had my subject a bit different. That was physics, chemistry, and geology, which was earth science. Left it in 12th. Very scared of integration and limitation. Abhi bhi dreams mein aata hai ki wo sum solve nahi hua. But still, I'm very happy that Max is there, and it is very important for today's students, how we are going to go for financial literacy. A very small point which I would like to add is, we have started in our school from class 6 onwards, as financial literacy is the new model which are being introduced by CBSE. So we have asked the students since last 2 months to bring out a check. They bring a blank check, which is cancel check from their parents, and we have taught them that why did you learn those words, naming words at 3,250? Why did you learn it in your class 1 and 2? So you are applying it here. So the basic target is making the students face to face that whatever you're studying, how is it going to be used in your life, the life applications of the same. So we are just putting a foot forward towards financial literacy right now. Thank you, sir, so much.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful, ma'am. And we are in the same group of COE
Yes,
because
sir.
yeah, we are in the same group. And I think you are taking the offline sessions also, but I'm far
Yes,
away,
sir.
so cannot take the offline sessions from there. Thank you so much, ma'am. Welcome once again, ma'am.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you.
Thank you, sir.
Next we have a very great personality from Lucknow. क्या बोलते हैं नवाबों के शहर से Mr. Sarish Ghosh sir. He is the principal of a very prestigious institution in Lucknow, that is SRM Public School. Although sir is not confined to only limited to his school name only, he has a very good name all over Lucknow and UP. Everybody knows him. He is a famous personality. Welcome, sir. Saraj sir, thank you so much for coming up to the show once again. It was wonderful talking to you yesterday also. Sir, please let us know about yourself.
Good evening, everybody. At the outset, let me confess I should not be here because I am a MPhil in history from the very prestigious University of Delhi. I am an alumni of the Kirodimal College, which is in Delhi. So when Chandhok sir invited me, I saw the topic. I told him, "Mere ko hata dijiye," because I am an expert in history, geography, and English. But maths to मैं class 5 ही तक पढ़ा था. And as you are discussing in middle school, I was a topper in my school. After that, I started getting fourth rank, fifth rank, because my marks started going down in maths. So I'm a bit scared today. Actually, my father was a doctor, so he was in an all India transfer job. So I have also been all over India. But luckily, I have only studied in ICSE schools. So English was always my forte. And so after my 10th, everybody expected me to take up science and become a doctor like my father. When I took arts, the whole mohalla was shocked. And then after my 12th, I went to Delhi University, did my graduation, post-graduation, and did my MPhil from history. And after that, as everybody is telling that they have come here by choice or no choice, I am also an accidental teacher. Actually, I have the gift of the gab. I can speak well. So my professors told, go into journalism. So that time in the early 90s, I had joined NDTV, the channel, the NDTV channel. And I was just a rookie. I was a trainee there. After 6 months, I saw an advertisement in a newspaper, the Times of India, that in Patna there was a vacancy for a vice principal's job of an ICC school. I just applied for it. And the biggest shock I got was that after 10 days, I got a letter from them that please come for the interview to Patna. I said, I will come if you pay me the AC 2-tier fare. That also they agreed. And then I thought, let me go to Patna, stay there for 6 months and come back. But that 6 months has not ended. 30 years have passed. And I have taught in various schools in Bihar, Uttar Pradesh, and even Jharkhand. So here am I. And I will learn a lot of maths from you. But I still love teaching, though I'm a principal. As ma'am said, either I try to take the first period or the last period. I call the students and tell me, please call me to the class. And what they tell me is they enjoy my classes because history is a very boring subject. And unless you attach it with the modern, what is going on today. Like we had an earthquake in Lucknow yesterday night, 2 o'clock. So I told them what is an earthquake, what is a Richter scale. So this is how I teach SS social studies or history. Maths, I would like to learn from you. But of course, I have a lot of experience of 16 years as a principal. So I have learned because principal should know everything, Thoda
Yes,
thoda
sir.
sab jante. Thank you,
Thank,
sir.
thank
Nice
you
to
so
meet
much.
you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, and welcome once again. Now, next we have the showstopper or the expert of the show, that is Mr. Nirmal Shah, who is the co-founder of a very, good and app called Counting Well. He's the co-founder of Counting Well, a maths learning app for middle schoolers. Their goal is to make maths learning easy, anxiety-free, and participatory for children across the country. Their focus is to help the so-called average students become more confident with maths and develop great problem-solving skills. They step in where school teachers are not able to provide personalized attention due to lack of time and bandwidth. He is also a designing career person who have live lessons courses for the age group of 10 to 14 group built around mathematics that kids must know that maths matter and it will matter throughout their life. The best way to do that is to show them how. So coming up to the non-formal introduction, I met Sir in a show where we were as the co-speakers, and he told me about mathematics, and it came to my mind. Yes, since ages we had been, like Sarit Sir said, we had been having, the phobia for mathematics. The students, what are the reason behind it? How it is helping out? They have an AI-based app. So I will tell about that. How it is helping the teachers. Teachers are also having the problem that we have 40 minutes class for 40 students. How can we look after all the 40 students? And how do we know how these problems can be solved? And this should not move forward. This has been developed by Sir, and we like to know from him only that what it is. Nirmal Sir, thank you so much once again for coming back, coming back after a short break or a little long break to us to guide us, because I had requested you, sir, that whenever you have time, you have to come for us, because this is a big problem which I have been having from ages and will keep on going if we'll not work on it. So first of all, we like to know that how did you came to your mind, the courage in your mind to start up an app that too with mathematics, and what is tell something about the app, how it is helping the teachers as well as the students. Over to you, sir.
Sure, sir. Thank you for inviting me again. I appreciate that you find my inputs valuable, and I hope everybody here also gets some value from what we discussed today. So, good evening, everyone. Um, First, I will address the word you used. How did I find courage to do something about maths? Right, and I think that courage comes from fear. Right, first it's the fear, and then you do something to overcome that fear, and that is what we call as courage. So everybody here talks about maths phobia, and that's what it is all about, right? When I was getting into middle school, or rather, I was moving from 6th to 7th grade, I changed boards. I was studying in Chennai, and I was in a state board school in 6th grade. In 7th, I moved to CBSE, and there was a big change in the whole maths content, right? What we learned in 6th grade state board and what I learned in 7th grade CBSE was not one step up. It was like 100 steps up. And the first test that I had in that school, I failed. And that was the first time I ever failed in my class. And I only failed in maths. I did very well in all the other subjects. And that was, in a way, you could say, start of maths phobia. But that was also a situation where the maths teacher intervened. And because of her intervention, I was actually able to overcome that phobia. So what I realized is that if we give the right kind of intervention to children, if we are able to give the right kind of support to children, then this whole question or talk of anxiety or phobia around maths does not arise. They may not score very well. There may be children who will score in the 60s. There may be children who will score in the 90s. There may be children who score 100 out of 100. But this whole thing about fear, that should not be there, right? Okay, why is this subject so fearful that I don't even want to study the subject? Kids go to the point of saying, I hate the subject. At that age, why should they even be using the word hate, right? So what I realized is that the teacher's intervention is extremely important. That was an experience many, many years ago. And later, when I saw my own son getting into middle school, I saw him go through a similar cycle as well. He was, all his enthusiasm about doing his maths homework, the way he would very, very excitedly come home and start doing the homework, that changed when he got into middle school. Of course, we can say that as the children grow, there are hormonal changes and there are mindset changes and all those things. But definitely there was a factor where the change in the maths content, and in a way our inability as parents to start contributing to the child's learning, played a role in their anxiety being developed. And of course, we all kind of keep talking that maths is very important. You have to study maths, make sure you do well. I think that starts building that kind of a kind of block in the child's mind, right? They don't start seeing maths as something which they will enjoy. They start seeing something which they must do because somebody is forcing them to do. And that's where all this phobia and anxiety and everything starts. So, long story short, what I realized is that teacher intervention is extremely important. In my case, in my classroom, there were only 17 students. So the teacher knew every child in and out, right? They knew us very well. If I blinked my eye in the class, she would say, Nirmal, why are you not paying attention? Because, we were all visible, we were right there. In my son's case, his classroom had 53 students. There is no way that the teacher would know what the backbenchers are doing. They may not even know what the middle benchers are doing, right? It's only the front benchers who get all the attention. And that is where this problem starts to compound. So, what we realized is that when we try to help children overcome this problem, we cannot simply say that, we will find this particular topic that you are weak in and we will keep making you practice, practice, practice. Because if we give them the practice of the same thing where they're making a mistake, they will repeat the mistake. So we actually have to make sure that we find that root cause, help them overcome that, and then get into this practice, 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 right? So that is where we decided that when we build something like Counting Well, my co-founder and I, we talked about it about 5-6 years back. That's when I was seeing my son go through this whole phase. And we said, we have to do something about this. So when we built the whole platform, what we thought is that we will create an assessment. We will try to identify why the children have learning gaps. And what we realized when we were building that is that the learning gaps are not simply about concepts. It's not simply about saying that I don't know what is the formula for area of a triangle, or I don't know what is the definition of a triangle. It is also about other skills which are required to solve problems. And that is where the focus does not, there is not enough focus in the classroom. So, for example, first thing what we realized is that language is the biggest barrier to maths learning. Now, it sounds very off, right? Why is language a barrier? But from 6th grade onwards, children start getting word problems. Word problems are actually language problems. They need to be able to understand the language in order to solve the problem. But in the maths class, language is never given attention. And that is a huge, huge problem, because if the child does not understand the problem, how are we expecting him to solve it? Then comes strategy. Now, we don't tell the children that in order to solve problems, you can also create or apply a strategy. What normally happens in the class, teacher writes on the board, the children copy, and that's it, right? So there is no focus on a strategic thinking. When I say strategy, teacher might say that use this formula, use this step, but nobody says that you have to think like this. And if they start thinking like that, then I'm sure that they will be able to start developing that strategy way of thinking in order to solve problems. So we created this whole assessment and we said, okay, let's try to identify, are these conceptual gaps, or are children having gaps because of lack of language skills or lack of strategy skills or whatnot. And we went and did these assessments in a few schools. So we went to a few schools in Delhi and we requested them if we can do some pilots, and 1,500 students actually took our assessments between class 6 and 8. When they took the assessments, one part of it, of course, was that whatever results we got was kind of what we expected. So we saw that, that language gap was causing a problem to children. Strategy gap was causing a problem to children. And we took all these reports to the school principals and said, look, this is the report. We have done this pilot and all this data has come out. And they said, look, everybody comes and tells us the education system is broken. This is the favorite byline of all armchair philosophers sitting in India, right? Everybody says education system is broken. Nobody tries to fix it. You have also come and done the same thing. You have told us it is broken, which we already know this is where it is broken. But where is the solution to this? And that is when the seed for Counting Well was sown. Because what we realized is that, one, we need to have a solution. We cannot simply say that here is a problem. And second, we need to get the schools and teachers closely involved in that process. So it needs to be a very, very collaborative learning model where teachers are involved, school is involved as an entity, and children are involved. only then we will be able to help the children overcome the problem. We cannot simply say that we will give it to children and children will overcome. So that is how Counting Well was created. So, I would not say courage. It was really perseverance, because it took us almost 2 years to figure out this whole process, to figure out how that content has to be structured, how we have to involve all the parties and make sure that we are delivering the right thing for the children.
Sir, you also found out that teachers also had the problem in this, that sixth grade and eighth
Yes.
grade problem is
Yes.
a
So that was,
very,
yeah, that was a very, very interesting event which happened when we were doing these pilots. So what happened was that when we did these pilots with students, the principal said, can you also give our teachers the same assessment? And we were also very curious, so we gave them the same assessment. And we found that most of the teachers had the similar gaps that children had. So it was the other thing which was obvious also, is that these misconceptions are actually flowing down from teachers to children, and of course from parents to children also it happens, right? The other thing was even more shocking, was that one of the teachers called me and she said that this problem that you have is a sixth grade problem. I am an eighth grade teacher. I cannot solve this problem. And we would think that maths is a subject where it builds up. So why is a eighth grade teacher saying I cannot solve a sixth grade problem? And what we realized is that, again, it is because there is so much of boxing in. Teachers are given that textbook, there is a syllabus, there is these chapters have to be completed within these time frames, that they just cannot and do not think beyond that. And that is why whatever I talked about in terms of focus on language skills, focus on strategy skills, focus on what they should have learned in the previous years, none of that gets the attention, especially in the maths class, because the curriculum is so vast that they just have to power on, right? They just have to kind of go like an engine, complete it. Otherwise, by the end of the year, they would never be able to complete it.
that's wonderful, sir. And moreover, we also know that the teachers, the way they have studied long back, they are still teaching in the same way. That is the most important thing, that the children are not able to learn. Because whenever time the teacher used to come inside the class, solve 3, 4 questions, okay, it is done. Yes, yes, ma'am. And the same thing is going on at many places, at many schools, most of the schools, that the teachers are not making their strategies according to the modern era, the whatever methods they can use. And that is very important. Thank you so much, sir, and welcome once again, sir. We'll come up to the next, the session, and we'll request to have a very precise answer with all of you. We'll come up to Bhavna ma'am. Bhavna ma'am, we would like to know your views on the saying that when children reach middle school, they start having fear of mathematics. What are the reasons behind it, according to you?
Sir, in my opinion, it's the same as what Nirmal sir so rightly pointed out. It's the teachers. We loved maths. Initially, we loved maths, we loved English, we loved all the subjects. But then later on, I think it's because of the teachers that we love a certain subject more and do not love another subject, or maybe start fearing one subject. And that happens with maths in the middle school. So now I have seen, like my own personal experience, as I said, I was never a maths person. But if taught well, I could understand it very well, even to this day. So although when I try to solve something, my way of solving it would be maybe 1 page long, but it can be solved in just 2, 3 lines. So that also I've seen while teaching my children. So I remember very well, I was in class 9, ICSC, and algebra. There was linear equation and all those things to be done. I could not understand it when my teacher in school taught me that. But then there was somebody else in my neighborhood, a bhaiya, who was doing his engineering. And when he taught me those topics, I very well, I'm very strong at it even to this date. So yes, as they said that sixth class onwards, maths becomes more of word problems. So once you are able to crack it for life, you are set, you know how to solve it. So I think the problem is not with the children, the problem, so that happens when you are at home. So the problem is not with the children, the problem is with the teacher. When the teachers themselves do not have the clarity, I've had when doing that recruitment, we have had teachers, you ask them a certain topic and they say, yes, it's very difficult. When the teacher themselves say that this is difficult, they can never make it simple for the children. So once the teacher feels that the topic is simple, is able to simplify it and explain it to the class, it's then that the children learn very well. So when we are observing lessons, we have seen some teachers, they make maths sound so interesting. Even to this day, I'm able to grasp a lot of maths when I'm in certain teachers' classrooms. And there are other teachers who, for some reason, but then that's the only choice we have because of the paucity of what is available to us. So yes, we need to plug that gap. We need to identify the how to train our teachers better who we have already with us, and maybe when we have the right kind of teachers, the right kind of training given to them, children will start loving maths. So that's what I feel about it.
Absolutely right, ma'am. Teacher is the person who is directly dealing with the students to make the the subject very interesting or a phobia for that. Even when I was in accountancy teacher in class 11th, when the students used to take accountancy, they used to ask the first question, "Sir, is accountancy difficult or easy?" So my answer was always, "This is the easiest subject on earth. You won't find anything easier than that." That's just like a doctor. When you are saying someone that lifesaver, that you are saying that कुछ नहीं हुआ है, सब कुछ ठीक है, बिल्कुल ठीक हो, थोड़ा सा देखना है. So there the 80%, the mental, that psychology is the most important thing. 80% problem is solved over there. So this has to happen with the teachers. Okay, this is going to be very difficult for you. I'm going to teach you this. So
One more
already he
line,
has.
if you allow me to add here, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
I went in for MA Economics, my first master's in economics, just because my teacher made it very simple and easy and interesting. So it depends a great deal on the teacher.
It's very important, ma'am. Many of my students are also CA.
Yeah.
Wonderful, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. We'll come up to Vinaya ma'am now. Vinaya ma'am, according to you or in your opinion, why do middle school students have lose interest in the mathematics or they start feeling bored about it? They run away from mathematics. Why so?
Okay, because it's a very general forum, and as you're saying that students run away from math, it's another way around in my school because they wait for maths class. That's what I have done in this past 2 years in this particular school and also in the previous school. But in general, if I have to say that, we all, as an educator, as a teacher, we have to first understand that math is journey and not a destination. So one thing is, yes, whether I know math or I don't know math, I will anyways learn it because it's going to be a part and parcel of my life. So this first thing, if we tell to our children that, see, you have to learn this. So as both Nirmal sir and Dr. Bhavna said that teacher plays an important role. Yes, of course, I agree that teacher plays an important role. So we being as the leaders also can also see that we drain this down, the positivity. So if there are a lot of educationists, if there are a lot of teachers who think that maths is not difficult, maths is not a phobia, maths is not something which I cannot do, and maths is something which is as equally important, and also don't give too much of importance. Now what happens is, as all the fellow friends here have said, it's a mindset in our mind that if you don't pass in maths or if you're not getting good marks in maths, you're not a good student or you're not a brilliant student. We have been listening to this right from a child, and I think from the teachers, अरे maths में fail हो गया यार, ये तो maths जैसे subject में fail हो गया. So it's not necessary that what is easy for me might be easy for others also. So, and in middle school particularly, there is this transition period from grade 2 to when they jump on to grade 3, 4, 5. They're already going into this transition period, and in between this transition period, they're used to this kind of pampering in the 1 and 2 sections. Most of the teachers will pamper because there's a small child. Yeah, let him learn. It's okay. We be very okay with the child, whether the child is learning maths there or not. But then we forget that when the child stepped into a 3rd standard, okay, now I have to take and grill this child. So what happens is, from that tender age of 3rd standard itself, when he steps into a I will say that his first footstep into the middle school, we create the cold feet about the mathematics problems. As sir said, language, yes, because 1 and 2 is something, we take it like a storyline, we take it, like very softly, we take it very slowly, and we'll see that they make the child comfortable so that the child feels it easy. But all of a sudden, when the child comes to that middle school level, we want the child to be understanding everything. Not possible. He cannot read the problems and on his own unless somebody is there to make him understand in the initial stages. So hence, there is this something called as anxiety starts, building up in that child, and that's how the child gets,
Right.
that phobia of math starts from there.
Right.
So we are supposed to be totally planned because we need to make them understand maths with simple things like applying the concepts to real world, even in third standard. If I want to teach him a problem sum, teach him in such a way that the child doesn't feel that it's a problem, or the child doesn't feel that it is a problem, because every question, no matter how much complicated it is, we know that the answers are going to be very, very simple. If this concept we tell to our teachers and ask them to take this and go ahead, I think maths will not be difficult for them. It's difficult for them already in middle school to manage the time, because they will have been introduced to a lot of new subjects in middle school. They'll have these bifurcation of subjects, as we see most of the schools run, like they will divide the subjects in social, might be divided in middle school sometimes. And they already are into a lot of difficulty in paying a lot of
Right.
attention in the class at a long span.
Right.
And very mostly and very importantly, we as an educator have to stop talking negative about maths. As ma'am said, Dr. Bhavna said that, the word difficult, that has to be removed. Because if we ourselves say that it is difficult, I don't think so that anybody, because they look up to us, they are going to replicate whatever we are going to do, whether it is teacher, whether it is any educator.
Right.
So we have to stop this negative commenting about the math. So the
We have
common
to,
myth
we have
has
to
to be removed.
remain normal when we are coming up to the higher classes. Okay, this is a
Yes.
normal subject. We don't have to
Yes.
make highlight it. Thank you so much.
More, sir, just to add one line, moreover, more than teachers and others, I think as principals, as the leaders, we need to also keep talking about this to our parents, because it comes from home, then it's been carried away in the school by the teachers, and then that's it. The child is lost in the world of maths. So we also need to make parents understand that it's okay if your child is not good in maths, and if he gets an average marks in maths, he's intelligent. We have to believe in that child that he can
Actually,
still do wonders.
actually, ma'am, the problem is the parents also had the phobia in their time. So they keep on pressing their child that बेटा हम तो नहीं कर पाए थे, लेकिन बोलते भी नहीं है, लेकिन कह देते बेटा you have to be very good in mathematics. Internally in their mind it is going on, हम नहीं कर पाए थे, it's very difficult. So the same thing is passing on. So that
Yes,
has to be removed with the parents.
yes,
Thank you.
yes.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much. We'll come up to Manandar ma'am. Manandar ma'am, we would like to know a few suggestions from you how to make maths a little more interesting. Ma'am, you're on mute.
Yes, sir. Going on with so many interesting points, I was noting in between these points really need to be taken care of, as Bhavna ma'am and Vinaya ma'am told. When we talk about the teacher's psychology also, before talking about the strategies, I would just like to tell, as per my, it's maybe my opinion only. I've seen a number of teachers, not only maths, also science, how they move in the school. Okay. So it's not only that the child is scared. We know, ठीक है जी, maths है, उनके लिए they have some new concepts which have to be understood and all. Why not in form of games? There are Bala concepts which are being working in many schools. You can make the students learn by matchsticks and all. For the tally and all, a lot of suggestive methods are there. But above all these, when a teacher says that this is a most difficult chapter, please focus on it. So what happens is, this maths teachers and science teachers, normally whenever a teacher goes inside the class, a maths teacher, now how is her attitude when she goes, It's not that वो बहुत ज़्यादा पढ़े लिखे हैं, they are PhDs or they are something of that sort. It's just how they are facing the children. Not every maths and science teacher have a big smile on their face. What I observe, they always are like that. So you're going to do this? and we're going to do this. You did not do yesterday's assignment. Now this is it. So they are quite straightforward in it. So emotionally also the children become very scared, and it's at times I've seen a number of teachers also telling, fold your hands and just focus on the blackboard. Many of them, they use the blackboards, many of them they use the smart boards and all. Any of the teachers who do these type of things in any of the schools, make one point clear, ask them to just watch one YouTube video. This YouTube video are from any it's not that we are just naming some apps. You can pick up from Byju's, Unacademy and all. You see those youngsters, how ma'am you told that you were learning from some engineering student who was doing. So how is their way, no? First of all, उनके मुंह पर एक बहुत बड़ा स्माइल होता है, वो स्माइल बहुत है आंसर्स को और कंसेप्ट को इजी करने का. Secondly, the way a teacher teaches and how they give the answer sheets when the exam comes, when the results are out. Before giving the report card, a maths teacher and a science teacher, this you have got. You're not studying. So you are creating basically a very hatred type of feeling in the children when you talk. मजा तब है जब maths or science में no doubt there are a lot of curiosities and all. So whenever a maths teacher is coming, the children should be like that. There she comes. Let's see what she's going to teach us today. So they are not like that. They are like that. आ गई, पता नहीं क्या करेगी, सब ऊपर से जाएगा. So it is that way. So when we talk about the strategies, among strategies, a number of strategies I would like to mention here is from CBSE also. We have been provided and introduced in 2020 a TERM manual. This is teachers energized resource manual, which is being placed for classes 6 to 10 for maths and science only right now. And many of our teachers are following it. In maths also, they have nice typical strategies given and the way of teaching any particular topic in a different way. For example, the tangents that are being, and the hexagons on all these shapes are being put up into tessellations and tangrams. These are some new things which have come up recently. How to make a tangram out of it, how to do tessellations. And then they also using just simple, when we talk about classes 3rd, 4th, 5th, using arrowheads and matchsticks. A number of counting figures. Many of the students, even in their 8th or 9th class, just while coming towards the steps, they just miss out on the multiplication plus or minus part. And even we teachers or the principals, whenever they go through some exam files of such results sheets of such students, oh, till here it was right. And then suddenly somewhere along that HCF and LCM, the students start committing mistakes. Some of the factorization things. So some concepts really need to be put on well in their head through some playway method. This can also be done when, for example, if someone is teaching rational numbers, why not go for a tombola game? A teacher can prepare some few strips. She can put up a rational number there, and then she has to just first give the revision part of it. And when she starts with that tombola game, it would be of a different idea where she'll be calling out the number. So if √3 is a rational number, and if you have it, cancel it. √3, is it a rational number? So you're making the concept stronger in that manner. Then the teachers can also go for some housey games. Some colored buttons are quite in for the art integration. When we talk about the blended learning also, it's not only we are talking about the face-to-face, whatever the children are doing. Art integration has been put up a lot in science and maths. Science, we know that projects and all works are there. But in maths also, we can use it in form of probabilities. You can use it in form of different digital placings and all. So that can be also utilized. Among them, you can also go for tally. And yeah, for classes 3rd and 4th, I recommend in my school that the teachers use multicolored chalks. पढ़ाना और है, and how to gain their attention. What answer they got, what was the step, and then how the change of color of the chalk. Minded, the teachers have to just use 3 main colors because that concept sits in the mind of the children that the second step, which was in yellow, is the most important part, which will connect it with the first step and the final answer. So the color coding also goes very well in maths here. Thank you, sir. I can just go on and on with this. Also, in financial
Wonderful.
literacy, we can ask the students to go for a budget. Let them make a family budget right now when they are in class 6 or 7. Let them learn how to do the accounting. आप बता रहे थे sir accounting, that how to put that interest, that first seed which need to be put up in such things is how to manage their life accounts. Among life accounts, the first one is in 6th, 7th. Let them learn how to budget. ग्रोसरी शॉप पे गए, बिल्स लेकर आए, मॉल्स पे गए, तब बिल्स लेकर आए, देन हाउ डिड कैलकुलेट इट, एंड देन टेकिंग द accountancy into the main part of life, how they're going to go for it.
Wonderful, ma'am. Wonderful.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Wonderful suggestions, wonderful ideas, different ideas we have shared with you today. Thank you so much, ma'am. We will come up to Sarat sir. Sarat sir, according to you, how does technology helps in making maths more interesting and easy?
Good evening again to everybody. As everybody was telling that there is something drastic which happens in the middle school. Children who had lot of interest in maths suddenly lose interest, including me. That was long back, 30 years back. But the situation is same. But Dr. Chandhok has come up with a good question. Like I being a principal, I don't want any more Sarit Ghoshas in my school, right? Of course, they should be good in English or in HCG like I was, but I want everybody to be good in maths. There were certain problems which I faced. Number one was I liked English more than maths. Second, the number of subjects suddenly increased in an ICC school. We used to have physics, chemistry, biology from grade 6. We had only science in grade 5. So the number of subjects increased. We were asked to take part in various co-curricular activities. Plus, I had a typical problem. This is an excuse, I know that. The teachers in my school we were in the north, and my maths teacher, luckily or unluckily, was from the south. So we had an accent problem also. And we used to find his accent very funny. So we used to spend more time making fun of him than listening to what he was saying. For example, there was a boy in my class called Dhananjay. He used to call him Tananche. We used to find it very funny. Now, coming to the question, that was the funny part. Sir, in my school, what we have done is getting quality maths teacher is also very difficult because most of the teachers now who come for interview, they don't come by choice. They come by majburi. All these engineering graduates are landing up and they're willing to work for 15 to 20,000 rupees. So, sir, what my management and I've done is, as somebody was telling, we have installed 5 interactive boards in our school where we can get the best teaching methods from all over the world. Right, sir? Somebody was mentioning about Byju's or Unacademy or any other thing. And what somebody was telling was, these teachers I've seen always teach maths with a smile on their face. And somebody was telling, most of the maths teachers were very grumpy. And ma'am was telling, take out the book like this. We arts teachers are more friendly. Maths teachers are a bit, grumpy. Science teachers and maths teachers, we were literally scared. So I have told my maths teacher also, ma'am, please be motherly with the children. They should not feel very scared. And sir, technology has helped. We have just started 4 months back, but I've seen a slight improvement in maths. So technology is there. Everything is available on the web. So we can use all these technologies. And I have taken a lot of learning from this webinar. Many things I have learned, and I'm sure I'll be in touch with some of the maths experts here so that we in Lucknow, not only in my school, all the schools in Lucknow can learn from this discussion. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. Obviously, is it being said that you can easily identify the maths teacher in a school? जिनका चेहरा लटका सा होगा और मुंह बना सा होगा, मतलब ये the dangerous one, they are the math teachers. Always with the problems, there are so many exercises and so many students, going into from one class to another class, what different phase they have. And but the phase what they have, when they go into the class, the whole class becomes the same, monotonous. आ गई, पता नहीं क्या पढ़ाएंगी, like you were saying, ऊपर से निकल जाएगा and all. It happens like this only. And it has been happening and will keep on happening if you will not do something for it. Thank you so much, Sarat sir. Neighbor sir, you have heard the grievances, what is happening with the mathematics. We are not getting good quality teachers. The teachers, again, as I told also, the way they have learned long back, the same tradition they are putting it forward, which is of no use right now. These that have become obsolete. So, first of all, whatever you want to say as an expert about what everybody said, and please let us know more about it precise that how these type of help apps like Counting Well, they are helping the teachers as well as the students. Over to you, sir.
Sure, sir. So I think, I mean, everybody has come with similar problems, obviously, that primarily it is the problem of the teacher quality, which is then leading to lack in teaching quality, right? Uh, so I think that one of the things, obviously, the most obvious answer to that is to give more teacher training, not in the subject area, but in the soft skills. So, like what Sarit sir was saying, that you show them the best practices from everywhere else. Let them learn from that, and let them at least carry a smile to the classroom. Let them at least make sure that they make the children feel that, or let themselves feel welcome in the classroom, right? First of all, when they enter the class, if the children are smiling, then they will feel welcome. It's a kind of a positive spiral which will get created. And if they feel welcome, they will smile back, and the children will smile back, and the smile will always remain. So I think that obviously is the soft side of it. The other side is, how do we empower these teachers? Right now, there is, all said and done, no matter how much we talk about we will do better recruitment or we will do better training, given the whole number of schools. I mean, we are talking about what, about 25,000 odd CBSE schools alone in the country, right? Just CBSE, and forget state board and ICSE and all that. So if there are that many schools, we need that many ex teachers. It's just a matter of numbers. We are just not going to get every teacher at the same level of quality. So what is the alternative? How do we help those teachers with a set of tools which they can use to improve their teaching, right? That's the next step that we can take, and that is where we are getting involved. So for example, one of the things what we realize is that we need to be able to give teachers a lot of good data, but also data which they can easily consume. It cannot be in the form of big graphs, big tables, reports which they don't want to look at, they don't want to interpret. So one, we should be able to give them good kind of data which tells them how effective they are in the classroom. It should be able to tell them whatever they have taught, has the child actually learned. Now, what the other thing that happens in the classroom typically is that, because the teacher is always focused on moving forward, what they do is that they don't really do a formative assessment, right? We talk about formative assessments a lot, but at most, what really happens in the classroom is a show of hands. Teacher says, "Samajh gaye," and the front benchers will say, "Haan, samajh gaye," because of course, yes. The back benchers will not care, and just for fun, they might just raise their hands too. And the middle benchers, who are the most affected, will just be quiet. Now, the teacher will assume that, yes, some kids have raised their hands, they've understood this topic, so let's move on. As far as I'm concerned, a checkbox has been ticked that kids have said, I've understood the topic. Now, when that happens, then you are leaving a majority of the children behind. But at the same time, there is no data to tell you that they have been left behind, right? So as a teacher, all I'm saying is that, yes, I asked the children, they said we understood, I'm moving on. Instead of that, can we create that data for them? And can we also give it to them in a very easily consumable format? So that's what we did. So what we did was that we packaged the whole Counting Well platform or the program into a homework module. By doing that, what we also realized is that homework is a very, very powerful tool which the teachers are not using at all. What they're doing is that they look at the textbook and say, okay, go to page 51. There are 7 questions here. Do this tomorrow and come back. That is your homework, right? Or they might bring a sheet and give you the sheet and say, complete the answers in this sheet. That is your homework. Now, when the children do that, then when they complete the homework, teacher does not know whether they have done it on their own or they have done it with somebody else or they've copied from somebody. Even if they have done it on their own, the teacher is not going to go deeper into it and try to tell them this is where you have made the mistake, because the correction also happens separately, right? Teacher takes the homework back and does the correction at home and then comes back and says, yellow, tumne acha nahi kiya, tumne acha kiya, whatever, and that's it. So that whole feedback cycle does not get created. So what we realized is that, can we turn this homework into something more powerful? And that's what we did. So we said that let teachers give homework on the Counting Well app. The app is so designed that as the children solve the problems, we track where they are making a mistake. Are they making a mistake because of lack of skills, because of language skills, because of lack of strategy skills, because of lack of knowledge of a particular topic, because of lack of conceptual knowledge, or even because of what they should have learned in the previous class, which they do not know? Now we put all of this together and show it to teacher and say that this is the report. So there is no escape from saying that I did not know that this child does not know the topic. You are knowing it. There is the whole information is right there. The second thing that we do is that we also become the first level of remedial for the child. So as they do the homework, we also correct them. We also assist them to learn that topic. Now, by doing that, what happens is that we become a kind of one-to-one teacher for the child. Right now, one of the things which came up during the discussion is that if there are 30-40 students in the classroom, how will the teacher pay attention to everyone individually? And if you have to do that every day for every topic, that's practically impossible. But now here what we can do is that we can actually do that one-on-one intervention in specific areas for every child. So that way it becomes a great confidence builder for the child as well, because if they make a mistake, we point out that you have made a mistake, but there is nobody else looking at you. So, you are not getting into that embarrassing situation that somebody's saying that you made a mistake, you are stupid and all that kind of stuff. They are correcting that mistake and they are learning. At the same time, teacher gets to know. Now, if these middle benchers who are not raising their hands, who are not asking questions in the class, who are not saying, I did not understand the topic, even for them, the teacher will start seeing the data and knowing that these are the areas that the children are weak in. We go down right down to the smallest learning outcome. So we actually tell the teachers that these are the outcomes which have been achieved and these are the outcomes which have not been achieved. When we do that, basically what we have done is that now, one, we have kind of given a stick to the teacher that you cannot say that all the children have learned. Here is the data. Children have not learned. These are the areas that you have to focus on. At the same time, there is the carrot, which says that you give them the homework, we will give them that first level of learning. So you don't have to keep doing this, create new homework, correction of homework, all that work is taken away. You focus on teaching. You focus on remedials. You focus on filling those gaps which we have identified. So,
That's
basically we take the teachers away from that whole administrative rigmarole, right?
That's wonderful, sir. And this is the best part I came to know from the schools which are already using the Counting Well, a very big, name schools also. I've been talking to them earlier also, especially in Delhi, NCR, and Mumbai and Bangalore also.
Yeah.
That it is a great help to the teachers. They don't have to make the assignments, the homeworks, and they don't have to check it. And at the very same, they'll get the report also where the children are lacking. He just have to focus on the remedial classes or on the topics, not on the 50% of his burden of doing that correction work and making assignment is removed away. That is very wonderful. And of course, we have seen, because I'm connected from you from a little long time as of now. So now I'm getting the feedback from the schools also. They're saying really the maths is improving. And I have seen in few schools websites also, on their social media also, how they have complimented you, even Counting Well also, that how it is helping the students to improve their mathematics. It is a very important thing, because as you said, when it comes out, the two subjects are very important. If these two subjects are good, other subjects will go on. That is English and mathematics. These are the most two important things which need to be taken care of. Thank you so much, sir. We'll come up to the next round, and we are in short of time. Please make your answer very precise. 1 minute, that is 60 seconds. We will come up to Bhavna ma'am. Bhavna ma'am, we like to know that it is often seen that the children try to learn mathematics instead of understanding it.
Because they have somehow cracked the pattern of the questions that you are asking them in exams, and they have predicted what you're going to ask next. They've seen the answer somewhere in the exemplar or whatever, so they have memorized it, so that they are just going to produce it on the paper during the exam, and you'll give them the marks. That's the reason they're memorizing it. Simple as that. So and okay, these are the children who are writing the exam, but we've also seen children who are so afraid of the exam that they have been repeatedly missing on the exam. I knew a child, class 10, and He did not appear for any exam. Whenever it was the maths exam, he would get absent for whatever reason, always a new reason. But it was board exam time, but still not appearing for any exam. It is very obvious because not prepared. So what we did here was we started from the scratch. We knew the problem is big. So although the child was in 10th, we started with the basics. We did not assume that the child knows anything. We started with class 1 and class 2 and class 3, and then gradually in a couple of months brought him to the level of class 10. A child felt a little more confident and was able to get decent, respectful marks.
That's wonderful. Thank you
And
so
yes,
much.
please allow me to talk also about that maths teachers and science teachers making a heavy weather of everything. This morning I was talking to my sports department and they were saying, ma'am, please maths teachers ko, physics teachers ko bol do, बच्चे जब आते हैं practice के लिए वो कहते हैं तुम बस खेलते ही रहना. So you know that's their attitude. They discourage. If the children have to go for a picnic, क्या करोगे तुम पिकनिक में जाके क्या करोगे? So somehow they have got to loosen up a little bit. I don't know what's wrong with them.
या नंबर तो लाते नहीं और खेलने जाओगे, बस खेलते
हाँ
रहना.
हाँ हाँ, वो उनकी स्टैंडर्ड लाइन बनी हुई है साल दर साल.
Ma'am, standard line inside the school also and at home also. At home also with the mother and the parents also. Thank you so much, ma'am. Vinaya, ma'am, your views on the same topic that children try to, learn mathematics instead of understanding it.
Just
Ma'am,
a
you're on
minute. Yeah. Okay. I was just so much worried. Now everybody started talking about a maths teacher not smiling, not doing things, and like I'm just reflecting back. Like, did I really did something? Any one of the thing which everybody said. Like, I was throughout my life maths teacher and social teacher, but I don't remember doing it. Maybe it's different in different places, and that's what I drained down to my team and my teachers as well. As I said, yes, just let's quickly learning. Yes, as ma'am said, to add on that, how children learn maths instead of understanding. And that's also, again, a very biggest challenge here. Learning is nothing but about seeing and taking results. And that's the place where, we as an educator, parent, anybody, what do we see in a child? We want to see the result. So then what the child is doing, because we are only seeing result, the child is only learning. So unless we change our mindset from result mode to an understanding mode, that is, beta, did you really understand it? Or did you get A marks? So that's the difference. So did you get A star or you have understood the concept? If we stop talking that, I think the children will stop changing themselves, we will see this change of learning mindset to understanding mindset. And
Right.
very importantly, if understanding is there, only then I can do the decisions and the processes and etc. everything in the first place. So learning and understanding, according to me, goes both together. And if it goes together, then there are a lot of new exciting things. Knowledge can be structured around, and major concepts of maths or any
Right.
other subject. Like, it's not only to maths, but for every subject, it should not be only learning. It should be understanding. So let's make learning with understanding so that they come out with new principles, new disciplines, and new contrast of different understanding. So let's experiential learning come into the place.
Absolutely right, ma'am. And we are not talking about all the mathematics teachers. There are exceptions also. There are exceptions also like you. Not 100% teachers like this. 80 to 85% are there, but still 50 to 20% are there who are very good, who had always made mathematics more interesting. Especially when they have become principals, they do it with the teachers also. So these are the best schools which are having the maths principals will having the maths background. Thank you so much, ma'am. We'll come up to Manandar ma'am. Manandar ma'am, we like to know your views on the saying that blended learning has helped children to grow much better.
Yes, before starting with the blended learning, I would just add to Vinaya ma'am's this. Ma'am, we have also started since after Corona. We knew that a lot of students really became slow learners, right? There was such a big gap of studies, doing it online and offline. So what we have done this last 2 years, sir, we have asked the teachers of 3rd, 4th, and 5th class to let the children make during the vacation time a reference book. A reference book, that means name of the lesson and the formulas which will be evolved in maths particularly and in science also. So for maths, what we have done for formative assessment, we take one in May and one we take it in November. If the students don't do, we know that there is a choice that the best two has to be selected. So even in third, fourth, fifth, what we do, we let them take their reference material formula book along when they have their UTs. This is for 20 marks basically, where the children need to apply the formulas what they think will come. It's not writing the formulas directly from that. It is how did they answer that, how did they understood that question, and now which formula has to be applied there so that they'll get the solution. So for classes third, fourth, and fifth, this we had done that in UT and periodic assessment. What we did, we asked our senior coordinators to check on how did they cope up in the periodic, because in UT they had a reference formula book. So really, this helped us a lot, because already the children, they knew that next time reference book nahi milega, in class 5th particularly. They become very sharp by that time. So what? They learned those formulas. Maybe they must have not done it when the reference book was allowed in the UT part. But at that time, they just learned that where to apply that formula. So this we had started in our max section this year. What I did, same I continued in my class 8, where I gave them formula book. I told them that you have to write these formulas on 4-5 sheets. They have stapled it well with a nice satin ribbon and all. They used to bring it along. They were allowed to bring, just like a reading material, how CC pattern was there. So it is type of a reading material. You find out which formula you're going to put it up here now. So this
That's
helped
wonderful.
many students there a lot. So, and regarding, sir, your question for blended learning, blended learning, flipped learning, and the PBL is a very big procedural, you can say, strategy of making things learn. For example, when the children start learning about trigonometry, why always from the textbook? Why not making the angles when they see a building? Let them just, the physical education teachers who really complain that this math science teachers don't allow, this is an answer for them. So let them come in the ground, let them have a look at their building, have a look at the structure of it, which angle has to be measured where, and then let the children just sit around on the ground and check out on making angles in a different form. Let the teacher not making, just by making that same diagram of a trigonometry height question on the blackboard and making it in front of making them sit in a playground and just drawing it there. Many of you must have seen that movie Ichki. It had come. So कुछ नहीं था, जब माइंडसेट था बच्चों का चेंज हुआ, वो क्लासरूम के प्रेशर से निकल के ग्राउंड तक गए. ग्राउंड में टीचर्स ने सर्कल भी सिखाया, circumference उसी को पकड़ा जो ग्राउंड में था. So whatever things were available, if we really use that, that form of blended learning is also important. Not only the online and offline. They say that blended is मिक्सी में हमने offline mode और online mode दोनों mix किया. Many of the teachers I see how Sir's app is there. I love listening about that app. Sir, but among all these, your app, no doubt, most appreciating. I just want to mention here about the smart boards the teachers use. Sir, even on smart board, these teachers, in a very calculative and manipulative way, they don't solve the answers. You just see children, how this is being done. You can see this, खुद ही नहीं आ रहा teachers को. So at times the difficult questions, they don't teach it in that form कि maybe step कोई उनसे miss हो जाए and बच्चे बाद में बोले, ठीक है, because there are many children who are there to point out their teachers' mistakes also. So they put those questions through smartboard. You understand from here? Okay. So these things need to be avoided by our teachers, I think so. Okay. And then they can,
that's
of course, they
wonderful,
can.
Sir, there's a lot to learn from you, ma'am.
No, nothing much.
I am just thinking that I should come sometime to Delhi for a day or two.
Anytime, sir.
And whatever you are, putting
So
up
even
in your
I
school.
learned from number of my seminars, whichever I also attended during the online. One was a very good one, which was super teachers from this Hyderabad side or Madras side, where
Right.
they had taught us ways of online sessions. They made us use menti.com, Padlet, and then there's a Max Playground, which I think so we all should appreciate. And even Nirmal sir, even you can put up some points from that into your app. What I believe, if you like it really. It is Max Playground. It is a wonderful app. They also have different ways of putting up things and making the children learn the concepts in different way. That's all, sir.
That's wonderful, ma'am. There's lot to see that what is happening in your school, the way you're taking. Of course, sometime I'll come. Although
Thank you.
last week I was there in Delhi to one of the college, Motilal Nehru,
Okay, sir.
for a session. So I wasn't able to move to many places. One or two schools I went, I was being called. I will surely be coming sometime to see that how I mean, with the different subjects, how you're taking up in your school to
I
learn
take
something.
science, sir, in class 10th. I had mentioned you last time also. So I made them learn that periodic classification. We had a Tambola game where I made them write the atomic numbers of first 20. Then we also put a lot of storytelling method in our school in
Ma'am,
science and
Ma'am,
social.
what we'll do is we are going to start up with the offline programs also. So we'll be inviting you as a not as an expert. Nirmal sir will say you have called ma'am as an expert. So we will call you as an instructor to tell us, show us that how this is happening. The
Strategies
Tambola and
can be
all these
applied.
things are very strategies. They're very good strategies we have, which I've understood today from you. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Sarit sir will come up to you. We are in shortage of time. Otherwise, we would have learned more. Sarit sir, again, your views on the saying that blending learning has helped children to grow in a better way.
Sir, first I would like to thank you for calling for this webinar. Before I was really scared, but it has been a great experience for me. And Dr. Vinay, we are very sorry that we have been telling that math teachers are very grumbling and all that. You have changed the concept. And I will get this video from Chandok sir and show it to my maths teachers. And sir, regarding blended learning, it is correct. We are trying everything and we have introduced those classes, maths lab, but everything comes to the teachers, sir. एज मैम
Hmm.
वाज टेलिंग वो दिखा के बोर्ड कहते हैं ऐसे 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 सर वो तो मैं भी कर लूंगा एज टीचर so it all depends upon the teacher because the catch line today is smart work and not hard work. Some teachers are over smart and that is creating a problem. And thank you very much for having me on the show. Thank you very much.
That's wonderful, sir. What a very good and a very precise answer we have given. Thank you. We'll come up to Nirmal sir. Nirmal sir, your expert views on the second round, which everybody have told. And my question will be that uh, during the last 2 years when the pandemic was there, the students had been away from mathematics when they were at home. Suppose a student who was in sixth and seventh during the pandemic has come in grade eight now. How can they cope up with mathematics by using your app? That is the most important thing which everyone is facing, maybe at school or at home, sir. Over to you, sir.
Sure, sir. So first, again, big kudos to Vinaya ma'am. I think, she is the second most smiling maths teacher I've seen. Why I'm saying second is the first was my maths teacher. This was when I studied maths. And that is why, that love for the subject. I would never say that I scored very well in maths, but I never feared maths. And it was because of her. Right. So, and it was the same thing, the smile, and the enthusiasm that you share with the students, that's the most important. So ma'am, I really hope that there are many, many, many more teachers like you out there around. So the other point, I think what Sarit sir said and what Maninder Pal ma'am also brought up is about that blended learning being misused in a certain way, right? Where we say that you just show it on the smart board. This is something which happened with me just yesterday. So I was at one of the schools in Bangalore, and we talked to them about the Counting Well platform and everything. And then not even the teacher, the director of the school, he came to me and said, why don't you have a module for the teachers where the teachers can just show the material on the board? So I had to stop him and I had to tell him that, look, sir, our job as Counting Well is to build confidence in children, is to fill the gaps where we find the gaps. But we are not the teachers. The teachers are the teachers. And we are in one sense, you say that, we are not here to take away their role. And second, their role is so important that we cannot replace that position as well. You cannot simply run a video and say that, you learn from this. If that was to happen, then YouTube would be everybody's teacher, right? That's what children did in the last 2 years. They did not pay attention to the class, especially in the mornings. They were either sleeping or brushing their teeth when the first period would be running. And then they would go to YouTube and learn the chapters. That's what they did. So you can definitely not replace the teachers, and just putting technology for the sake of it and saying that this is blended learning is never going to work, right? Blended learning or technology blending or blending, playground and art and technology and everything will only happen when teacher is in the middle of all of this. And without that, it will never take place. So that's my 2 cents on this whole point about, technology and teachers playing a role. Finally, another interesting thing which came up was about this play, right? That children love to play, and obviously, yes, they do. So one thing that is something that we also learned. So as we launched the app and we started going to schools and working with students, taking their feedback, what we realized is that play is more fun than learning, or play is more fun than homework. Play is more fun than saying that just go take a assessment and try to learn by yourself. So what we did was that we have created these various competitions throughout the year. We do it 3 or 4 times in a year. And at various stages, we cover the various chapters which the children learn during their class. So when we do something in July, then it's the first 2 chapters. Then we do something we just did, in fact, recently. Then we are going to do another in December, where we will cover about 5 or 6 chapters. By doing that, what we do is that we kind of make them think about whatever they have learned in the previous few chapters. At the same time, there is a competition, there are prizes. So, that whole sense of play comes in. And none of this is about, getting the final answer right. So a lot of our competitions they have questions like, they are supposed to make the children think, right? So the kind of questions we have is where we say that, okay, if this is the situation and the answer is X, now, if you want to get the answer Y, how will you change the situation? So then they have to go back and think about that situation. They cannot simply plug in a formula and say, I know the formula, so I know the answer. And I'll just get the answer somehow. So when we create these kind of situations, in fact, talking about financial literacy, another very important, interesting thing which came out is we launched a course on financial literacy on our app. And what we did was we connected all the things which children learn in maths with personal finance. Small things like, difference between simple interest and compound interest. When you compound your interest every quarter, you earn more interest than compounding it every year. Very, very simple things, right? These are things which are very intuitive if you think about it, but we never actually do it. Even as adults, we have not thought like that. We put money in a fixed deposit for 5 years and say that it'll earn interest. But if we did that every year, it would have compounded. It would not have gained simple interest. We don't think like that. So we created this whole course. And in order to promote the course, what we did was we created a financial literacy challenge. And there were simple maths questions related to financial literacy. You calculate interest, and in some cases, we showed them some budgeting aspects, some aspects related to inflation, how it affects the cost and things like that. But at the base of it, they had to do some math. And the average score was only 31%. That means that the children had no inkling of how the maths they have learned actually relates to personal finance. And this applies to all other aspects, right? It's not just personal finance. Most of the math we learn does not link with what we do in real life. So that is the other thing that we want to try and bring in, where, we show them that whatever you are learning, this is how it relates. So at least if not trigonometry, if not integral and differential calculus, at least, basic geometry, at least basic simple interest calculations, basic calculations like ratios, you should be able to apply to your real life, and you should know where it applies. Then you will find it interesting. So the whole point is that, we create this whole thing. Sorry, I'm taking too long, but, and when I talk about maths, I keep going on. But, the whole point is that one, blended learning is not simply throwing technology into the mix. It has to be properly adapted. Second is that we have to get children engaged in a way that it is fun for them, also in a way where they find that there is value in what they are learning. It's going to help them in some way in their future. Then they will definitely have that interest.
Right, sir. Sir, and my question was that during the last 2 years when the children,
Yes.
children run mathematics, yeah.
Yeah, I know. I just went off in a tangent. So anyway, so the what we did was that obviously, and this is not just COVID, right? COVID time, of course, last 2 years they used Google and YouTube a lot to learn most of what they think they have learned, but they haven't. But also, if you take simple things like summer break, Christmas break, 10 days break, they come back, they have already slid a little bit down the scale. So what we do is when we do this kind of a formative assessment every time, we don't simply test them on what they are learning now or what they are getting assessed on now. If they don't know a particular topic, we go backwards to previous classes or related concepts which they are supposed to know and also test them on that. So we try to identify where that root cause is. Is this something which they should have learned earlier, which they haven't? Or is there a related concept which they should know, which they don't know, and that is causing the problem? So that way, we are able to identify where that learning deficit is coming from. And then that learning also is then differential learning for the child, because then what happens is that we start giving them the learning content from that stage. Rather than saying that we will teach you what you're supposed to learn now, first we say that let's fill that gap. So we make it that much differentiated so that it starts where the child has the gap or where we have identified the gap for the child.
That means if grade 8 question is not able to do that topic, you will take to class grade 7.
Yeah, grade 7, grade 6, as far as it goes.
Okay, till the root, when the root is, being fulfilled, that now he has understood from the basic, then you come back to that. That is the most important thing. This is happening in the schools. The teacher has a load of all the chapters and syllabus and all. The teachers can never go back and teach this. And this is the one more very good feature of the app that is helping the students to bridge that gap of what had happened during the last 2 years. That's wonderful, sir. Wonderful thing you have created. All the best to you. It is getting a very good name in the country, and hope all the best that it reaches to almost all the schools, because this problem is worldwide actually about mathematics, and it should reach. And there should be teachers like Vinaya ma'am and strategies like Maninder Kaur ma'am has, the strategies they have with the use of the AI based tools, whichever people your people are creating, that is going to make a difference. And let me tell you, Vinaya ma'am, sir is from your city only, from Bangalore only.
I know. I'm going to meet him
Oh, very
because
good.
it's very interesting to see that somebody has deep dived into math. Logic Wits was something which I had started for maths in my school during pandemic because I didn't wanted them to lose a track, so they could do this Logic Wits being at home, like how similar way the counting well is there. And talking about just 1 second, I will just take more. That is creating more maths teachers. Yes, on 26th and 25th November, I'm going to Mumbai just to make sure that I create more number of teachers in JBCN school, taking a
Wonderful.
workshop for almost 200 plus teachers on tic-tac-toe of maths. So I teach maths by dance. I teach maths by playing hide and seek. I teach maths by various methods. Theater, I teach maths by play and putting songs. So there are various methods of teaching maths and making maths interesting, because it's very interesting for me. So I want it to be interesting for everybody.
That's wonderful, ma'am. We'll meet you sometime to understand and learn this. Sarit
चंडोक
sir,
सर, चंडोक सर,
Sarit
इनको नॉर्थ में भी बुलाइए.
Sarit sir, one good news that Nirmal sir will be coming to Lucknow for the program on 20.
Congratulations, excellent news.
Uh,
Very good.
so
Thank
sir will be coming, and we'll be having a session on mathematics also, where we have requested sir to come over there. So all are invited. And sometime we like to have it in Delhi NCR also, offline session where we will be calling all the principals to have a good discussion on different topics also. Thank you so much. And coming up to the last part of the show, you know very well the culture that, as Vinaya ma'am said, that she teaches mathematics through singing also.
Yeah.
So let's start up with Vinaya ma'am, because there is a not a newcomer over here. All are the oldies who pehle aa chuke hain.
Sir, just one query I would like to ask from Nirmal sir, which I think so
Ma'am.
can be a doubt for all of us. Sir, how your Counting Well app is just I want only 1 point different from that Vedic Max, which is quite trendy. Ki Vedic Max karayenge, hum Vedic Max karayenge. How it is different from that, and just 1 point on it, please, sir.
Good question.
So directly, I would say that Vedic maths is not aligned with what you learn in the classroom, right?
Okay.
It just helps you do calculations very quickly, but that's it. Whereas we have linked it directly with the curriculum. So it is entirely curriculum. And that is why when I say formative assessments, you can do it every day, every week for every concept that you're teaching.
Okay, thank you so much,
So
sir.
that concepts also you have the 20 minutes system also you have in your app. I forgot to discuss about that.
Yes. Yes.
Because the parents से अभी तो मोबाइल उनसे वापस लिया छीना है हमने और आप फिर मोबाइल पकड़ाने के लिए कह रहे ऐप के नाम पे.
Correct. Yeah. So what we did was that we broke down the whole content into its constituent learning outcomes, and for every year, every grade, we have almost 300 learning outcomes. By doing that, what we did was that we were able to align it with very, very small, what we call as micro learning content for each learning outcome. And by doing that, now finally what we have is that in one day, you do 3 to 4 learning outcomes. It takes about 20 minutes in order to complete that. And that's it. You do not have to go beyond that. Now, if you do the math, you can complete all of this in 6 months or so. But simple thing is that now by doing all of this, what we are able to do is we are able to tell the children and the parents that your children do not have to spend more than 20 minutes on the device trying to learn math. In 20 minutes, there is enough learning, and they don't need to do more than that for one day. Let them just do it the next day and so on. So they don't have to take the phone for an hour and do things here and there. In just 20 minutes, they'll be done for the day.
That's a wonderful thing, sir. Thank you so much and all the best to you, sir. And thank you from the Education Society that you have created such a wonderful thing for the schools and the students and for the teachers and basically for us to get a good result.
Yes,
A good output, actually, not the result. Result will be a wrong thing.
Don't talk about marks.
Marks, don't talk about maths. So, Vinay ma'am, will come up to you.
Okay, just before I could, this song that math is like for me, math like it may not teach me what should I add, love, or should I subtract hate, but it always gives me a hope that at the end that every problem has a solution. So for me, math is a real life thing. So that's maths to me, and I'm just hoping that it's maths to everybody. That I'll just give this end up this small, as Chandhok sir used to always say. First time it was a surprise for me, but today I knew that he's going to make us sing.
So, ma'am, 2 lines, ma'am.
2 lines, yes. It's again on math. Then I feel somebody who's stuck in maths and how they will. So it is like अजीब दास्तां है ये कहाँ शुरू कहाँ खत्म ये मंजिलें है कौन सी न वो समझ सके न हम. Thank you.
Nice voice too, ma'am.
It's just like a student doing a question is not able to solve when he's talking about Ajib Dasta hai ye. This question is Ajib Dasta.
Yes, I was just like, when I'm teaching maths, if they are not able to understand, I'll relate it with some song and immediately sing there. So they will, okay, अब ये हमें taunt मार रही है. इसके पहले कि ये मैम कुछ बोले, let me just solve it and give it in her hand. So that's how I, do a lot of things. So that's maths for me.
That's wonderful, ma'am. Every school and every student should have a teacher like you. Bhavna, ma'am. Ma'am, we gave you a long time to select a song. After so many months, we have called you just because you will be giving a very good song to us. 2 lines.
I am not prepared with the right, I can't think of anything appropriate to sing. I think let others sing. I'll just listen to them.
Okay. No, but it will be your chance after them, ma'am. We are coming back for sure. Maninder, ma'am.
No, sir, nothing much really, because I think so, sir. पहले तो जो ritual था, that was one song was being sung by all of us.
There was something cheating in that episode. Might be. It is everybody has to sing a song. This is the me time, ma'am. So, Maninder, ma'am, any song of your choice.
So
any.
I would like to dedicate this song to Nirmal sir, because बहुत पुराने टाइम पे जब हम स्कूल में थे तो ये गाना बजता था. He has put up so many challenging things for to be made easy for the students. तो ये वही है जो सोचे ना समझे वो करके दिखा दे, हम वो हैं जो 2 और 2 5 बना दे.
Thank you, ma'am.
तूने अभी जाना नहीं, मुझे पहचाना नहीं. That's
Yes,
wonderful. A very perfect song on mathematics, and it all suits about Nirmal sir.
yes,
Yeah, when
sir.
he'll
You
come up to
make
the
this the
school.
Counting Well theme song.
Sure, sir. This is the best song I think till now. This is the 29th episode, and this is the best song we have come to know about mathematics, and which suits on your counting well or user.
Yes,
So
sir.
whenever you will enter, be introduced, we'll sing that. The entrance will be like this for the background music. जो सोचे ना समझे वो करके दिखा दे. हम वो हैं जोड़ दो,
दो
दो
और दो
और दो
पांच
पांच,
बना दे.
पांच बना दे. Very good, very good. तूने भी जाना नहीं, मुझे पहचाना नहीं. I have created counting well. That's wonderful, sir. That's wonderful, sir. Sir, you can think over that, sir. एक थीम सॉन्ग बना लीजिए आप काउंटिंग बेल का. ये
बिल्कुल सर, यही बनेगा.
यही बनेगा. डन है, डन है. भूल मत जाइए कि मैं तो भूल जाता हूँ. अब याद रखिएगा कि कुछ सॉन्ग का नाम. Thank you so much, sir. Sir, being a gentleman.
सर यही तो कमी है, मैं
सर,
बोल सकता हूँ 6 घंटे मगर मैं गा नहीं सकता सर.
सर ভালোবাসি आपको बंगाली में
আমি
गाना गाना
ভালোবাসি
पड़ेगा.
তোমাকে কিন্তু আমি গান গাইতে পারবো না.
नहीं,
Bengali is
Akla,
a very good
my
singer, but
my
unfortunately,
my best song I know is that Ekla Chalo Re. Only two
Sir-
lines from Ekla Chalo Re. Rabindranath
sir,
Tagore.
I don't know that song, sir. I was educated in Delhi, so I'm a बस बंगाली by name. सर प्लीज मेरे को माफ कर
सर
दीजिए.
कोई बंगाली आता है वो गाना हम सुनते हैं सर.
सर
दो
हमें
लाइन
नहीं
सर.
आता ना.
सर 2 लाइन तो आती होंगी सर.
नहीं, बंगला गाना 2 लाइन सर मेरे को एक भी याद नहीं आ रहा है सर.
चलिए सर, कोई हिंदी में
सर
हिंदी में सुना
नहीं.
दीजिए सर.
हाँ सर, जब मैं किरोड़ीमल में पढ़ता था तो जिस दिन फेयरवेल था मेरे को वर्स्ट सिंगर का अवार्ड मिला था सर.
सर ये
तो
भी एक
मैंने
टैलेंट है
गाना
सर.
गाया था.
सर ये भी एक टैलेंट है सर.
हाँ वर्स्ट सिंगर.
तो बेस्ट और वर्स्ट को मिला ना, तीसरे किसी को मिला
बीच का तो नहीं मिला.
नहीं मिलता सर. ये भी एक टैलेंट है सर. सर कोई भी गाना सर, एनी सॉन्ग सर, हिंदी भी चलेगा.
वही वाला जिसमें मेरे को वर्स्ट सिंगर का अवार्ड मिला था. मैं अभी
Done, sir.
ऐसे गाऊंगा सर, आप ये बंद कर दीजिए गाना वाला.
चलिए सर, हो जाए सर.
सागर किनारे दिल ये पुकारे. सर आगे भूल गया सर. इसी के लिए वर्स्ट सिंगर अवार्ड
तू जो नहीं तो मेरा कुछ नहीं.
मेरा दिल ये था. सागर फिल्म था. ऋषि कपूर एंड डिम्पल कपाडिया एंड कमला हसन सर. आवर डेज, स्कूल डेज, कॉलेज डेज. यस सर. हाँ याद आ गया सर.
वेरी गुड सर. सागर के ना सर, आप ठीक गा रहे थे. सागर वापस नहीं जाएगा सर, आप जैसे बुला रहे आ जाएगा, ऐसी बात नहीं.
थैंक यू सर.
नेक्स्ट टाइम प्रैक्टिस करके
आप
आइएगा.
लखनऊ आइए और सर को भी लेके आइए, मजा आएगा लखनऊ में.
आई एम इनवाइटिंग एवरीवन फॉर
हाँ सर, सबको बुलाइए.
20. बिल्कुल सर. निर्मल सर तो आ ही रहे. भावना मैम फ्रॉम लास्ट
मैं बड़े असमंजस में थी कौन सा एप्रोप्रिएट गाना होगा जो मैं गा सकूं यहाँ इस प्लेटफॉर्म पे. तो आपने ही मुझे सुझाव दिया, और क्योंकि सरित सर ने वो गाना लेने से इनकार कर दिया तो मैं वही लेती हूँ. যদি তোর ডাক শুনে কেউ না আসে তবে একলা চলো রে. যদি তোর ডাক শুনে কেউ না আসে তবে একলা চলো रे. ठीक है सरित सर, आपकी तरफ से गा दिया मैंने.
हाँ बहुत खूब भालो गान गाई लेना
सर. आप कम से कम मान लीजिए एकला चलो रे.
नहीं आता है.
तो मैम हाउ डू यू नो, आर यू बंगाली?
नो सर, स्कूल में है. स्कूल में हमें थोड़ी बंगाली भी आनी पड़ती है, कभी पंजाबी. अभी कल गुरुपुरब भी किया था तो बैठ करके वो भी हमने कीर्तन वगैरह सब हुआ था. सो थोड़ा बहुत स्कूल में रहते हुए यू हैव टू लर्न एवरीथिंग.
दिल्ली एनसीआर में तो पंजाबी चाहिए मैम. रह नहीं सकते दिल्ली एनसीआर में अगर पंजाबी नहीं है.
हाँ, कल बिल्कुल प्रभात फेरी और सब कुछ बच्चों ने किया.
वेरी गुड.
तो
वेरी गुड मैम. वंडरफुल मैम, वंडरफुल. निर्मल सर 2 और 2 पास करके दिखा दीजिए सर आज.
सर चलिए गाना तो मैं भी मैथ्स वाला ही गाऊंगा. सो हियर गोस. दुखी पे दुखी हो या सत्ते पे सत्ता, दुखी पे दुखी हो या सत्ते पे सत्ता, गौर से देखा जाए तो बस है पत्ते पे पत्ता. कोई फर्क
नहीं अलबत्ता,
कोई फर्क नहीं अलबत्ता. सत्ते पे सत्ता. फैंटास्टिक.
आपने मुझे गा के